All right. Hello, Kay.
Oh, hi, Kara. Good afternoon. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining. So, today I have the absolute privilege to spend some time with Kay, who has 18 years of experience in nursing. She's an educator, she's an influencer,
Yeah.
extensively supports internationally educated nurses, which I personally love. She's an amazing mom, and I just love getting time with her. I always learn something. So, I'm excited to get this started. So today I'm meeting with Kay to shed some light on, what we consider a very critical component in the enhancement of healthcare services, the role of preceptors in the integration and professional development of internationally educated nurses, which is so important. And as the healthcare landscape continues to evolve, so does the need for this collaborative training and mentorship approach. And we see preceptors, they stand as a vital connector in the process, providing hands-on guidance, fostering seamless integration of nurses into new clinical environments. They're tasked with easing the transition of internationally educated nurses. I would say that they're one of the most important pieces when you really think of that first time that they're in the United States. And they're tasked with just the transition and the facilitating, not only the transfer of knowledge, but also just the adherence to standards and practices and the new settings. So, Kay, I'm excited. I know that you've been a preceptor. You've had many preceptors, so I'm just really curious to hear your recommendations for preceptors with internationally educated nurses.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kara, for the wonderful and kind words of introduction. I'm just a normal nurse, like anybody, like just trying to find, the best ways how to do things and find things to make it efficient and work, on the best of both sides. My goal is to learn and educate. So that has been my goal ever since I started this journey in my nursing practice. So I would like to start with, since I'm Filipino, I would like to express the importance of preceptorship, you know, on
Yeah.
international dedicated healthcare professional. So if I'm Filipino, I'll be very comfortable if I'm being precepted by a Filipino itself. I understand that not a lot of places have diversity on their facilities, but the closest relationship would be a nation to a nation, a European to European, Canadian to Canadian. If you don't have much of that diversity, that is totally fine too. Your next best option, your BATNA, right, will be the kindest person in that organization. If you have a nurse that you identify as the most caring, most, friendly person in that organization or your department, I would recommend you starting with that. Primarily, these nurses that will come into a new place, new world, right? New
I mean,
country,
really,
everything new to them.
yeah.
Their first day is always going to be the first thing that they will remember. They will never remember the second. They will not remember the second day of third day of their orientation. They will always remember the first day of their orientation. And this is actually a big impact in their retention, a big impact in their transition, and the success of them becoming as part of your organization. We always say the first impression lasts, right? So it's very important to start easy with these people, and these people will not say, hey, this ICU of this hospital is awesome. They will never say that. They always say, oh, this hospital is awesome. It, they're
Yeah.
not going to say the manager of this ambulatory surgery is awesome. They will have those impact of this hospital is friendly, right? So and that will start them, getting more excited on your facility. So that are my first two things that I want to emphasize is, take it easy. There's so much things to be learning, and nobody's rushing on the first day, because the first day you will really have to emphasize this is building trust as
Mhm.
nurses. to patients, we always emphasize the importance of building rapport on the first day that these patients come to the hospital. So it's the same thing with this transitional nurses. May it be a new grad, may it be a foreign nurse, but most importantly, the foreign nurses need a lot of help in transitioning. Okay.
Yeah, I can imagine you're just coming into this new country and starting, and to be able to have a nurse who maybe was also an internationally educated nurse that came over here and really understands that experience, and just being in the US for a few days and then starting work, and somebody who's just kind, that really can take that time and connect with them is really important. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, the preceptor role in these nurses who are transitioning, it's a big impact.
Yeah.
I have been through a horrible preceptor. I've been through a best preceptor. I've been a preceptor myself. And I can tell the success of these people staying in your facility is going to be impacted by the people who they on their first days at work.
Mhm.
Yep. Second thing that I want to emphasize, this is communication. A lot of our foreign educated nurses or just workforce simply have different cultures. For example, majority of the Southeast Asian countries like me, Filipino, our culture is you don't ask authority, right? So it's always that factor that when you ask these nurses who are new to your country, not only new to the country nurses, but I would say in general, if you ask them question, did you understand? Most likely, I would say they will say 100% is yes. Right?
Yeah.
Do you have questions? And they will say no questions. Important to explore that the culture plays a very big impact on their response here. Understanding that is very important as a preceptor is to ask them, you're very free, any questions you feel like asking, feel free to ask me. If you don't understand, if you have additional questions, save my number, this is my phone number, text me. I might not be in the same area, I might be on the lunch. So educating these preceptors that they're very accessible if they have questions for these foreign nurses to come in, and they have resources, is very helpful. A lot of my nurses have come in here in the United States, not my nurses, but I would say the nurses who came
Yeah.
came to me. They said, Kay, we felt like we were just put in here and then you do on your own, find your way out,
Right.
so that is a very challenging scenario that you're going to put these nurses. They are transitioning not only clinically, they're transitioning culturally, socially, personally. They're going through a lot of things. And the first 3 weeks of their life here in the United States is the most challenging part that they're going to go through. Probably when they go home, they're crying because they miss their family. Their first to be away from their family. And if you're familiar with Southeast Asian culture, especially Filipino, our family ties is very strong. You see one house with 13 people in there. We're throwing party for every part. Our family ties is very, very, very tight. And being away is probably for the first time in their life. They are going through different struggles of their life. And I want you to see it that way. And if you can be kind with them and be more patient, give them more time to adjust, it's going to help them succeed in this transition. Yeah. And
So it
making
really
sure.
sounds like, oh yeah, it really sounds like beyond the clinical, just checking in with them in all
Yeah.
areas, that there's so much going on. And I imagine, because you shared that a lot of times they'll say, they don't have any questions, or, it's easy to say, I understand, when it's just a yes, no, but that bond that can be created with the preceptor from the beginning, to really have that connection where a nurse feels comfortable with asking questions and sharing, really makes for the success of that international nurse, and really that partnership with the preceptor as well.
Absolutely, the preceptor will be their buddy system kind of like thing, and that will give in to the success of this new nurse coming to the new facility. Beyond clinical, there are things that you can ask. Hey, are you new here? I mean, yeah, definitely you're new, right? How are you doing? How are you settling with your new place? Have you do you need help in locating like the good grocery area? There's this a family with kids. You might want to ask them, how's your kids? Did you find them school? How's the school bus? Were you able to get around those things? And if there are community programs around the area, you might want to introduce them. Hey, you know what? There's every Wednesday. If you are single, come. They have like painting, class here, painting sessions. Try to invite them, put it on the wall. Sometimes they will just find it on the nursing lounge, and they will be like, I'm shy to attend, but I really like to attend, but I don't know anybody there. But if you have a preceptor who probably you think that will have similar single person that would want to try that out, that's a good way to engage them in the community. That will give them more value of staying in that area, in that location. It will help them in feeling just the feeling of belongingness, because they are far away from where we were belonging before. So they're feeling alone on this scenario. So finding a home for them again, to start a home and finding those key people are very important, and those are your preceptors.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you just gave some context around like what it's like to come. I mean, everybody wants to belong, right? And, coming into not only a new team that you're working with, a new hospital, but it's an entire new country. I mean, really stopping to think of that, that's amazing.
Yep. Yeah. So those are very important to go. If you have a preceptor that you can go beyond, the community, and identify that preceptor. If you don't have diversity in your location, the kindest and the easy first. Don't throw them to the wolves.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Not on the first 3 weeks, maybe on the second month or first month. Right? Let them get on their feet first and take it easy.
Yeah, that's great advice. So, really finding the right preceptor, making sure that they understand what the nurse has gone through to get there, understand the culture a little bit, understand the communication, somebody who's really kind and compassionate. And I think that's great that you're sharing that, because I see a lot of hospitals having great task force groups or steering committees. And those are things that they could look at when they're looking at the preceptor program specifically for their internationally educated nurses.
Yep. Thank you very much for your time, Kara. And I hope these were able to give them good insights. As for me, it's an experience of a foreign nurse, and it's experience of me as a preceptor and being precepted upon. It creates a very good atmosphere of opening all our Johari's window, I would say.
I love it. I love it. No, it was great insight. And I was just going to share real quickly, one best practice that I see is having the preceptors actually being on a Zoom call with the nurses prior to coming over, to be able to meet. How powerful is that if you've already met your preceptor before going in the first day? So that's something else that we've seen work really well.
Oh yes, absolutely. I have like people come to me before. I always tell them, we'll have give me 2 months before your departure in the Philippines. And then when they get here, the first thing they call is me, like, hey, I'm here already. I'm very excited. And, having that person that they can, be comfortable is big help on them. And a lot have said that, you connecting with us before arriving in the Philippines really helped us tremendously in our transition.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, Kate, as always, I always learn something from you. So thank you for your time. And I look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you, Kara. Have a good day, everyone.
You too. Bye-bye.